Bones Hyland and Ayo Dosunmu might be the most fun thing Minnesota has produced all season. Both as individuals and as a twin turbo pairing, they have consistently sparked a fire in this Wolves team that really just hasn't been there. Without Anthony Edwards on the floor this past week, that's gone up another notch, and in their best win without Edwards there last night against Boston, they peaked as a dynamic machine gun duo. In those 4 games, the Wolves have been 22.2 points per 100 possessions better when Dosunmu is on the floor compared to when he's on the bench, and 22.3 points per 100 better when Bones is on versus off. And those numbers match the eye test. They've been carrying this team for large stretches in these important, short-handed games, and this Boston win really was a microcosm of what they've been doing over and over throughout this stretch. Now, what makes it really difficult to break down what these two are doing is that they really butter their bread as out-and-out transition threats. And there's really not that much to that. They're both faster than pretty much everyone they're going to come up against, they both want to run more than any defense does, and they both have a non-stop hunger to get easy buckets on the break. Both of these guys have been feasting on true transition chances all season long, and that's only increased lately as they get more playing time with Ant out, but I think in this game against Boston, we saw the difference between finishing in transition and creating chances in transition. Because most players in the league can do the former, but the latter is one of the most valuable traits a player can have. Like, this possession ends in what looks like fast break points, but having 3 players settling in front of Dosunmu doesn't scream transition. He makes it that way by pushing the pace and slicing through it. A lot of players would be comfortable settling into a half-court set with multiple defenders here getting back, but pushing pace, catching defenders with their back turned, and forcing transition points into the game is a specific choice that these two make, and it's giving Minnesota's offense a really different look right now. Those prototypical fast break chances aren't always going to be there, they need to come off a turnover or a defender leaking out, but those two are forcing Minnesota to play fast in other situations as well. I don't think anyone would blame Dosunmu for taking a second to recalibrate after he skies in for this contested rebound, but he's already pushing the ball as soon as he lands, and that forces Bones and DiVincenzo to get on his wavelength, and now everybody is running and passing and pressuring the defense before it can get itself set, and that's how you get easier points against a great defense like Boston's. When these two are putting speed into the game, everybody seems to join in, and then things open up for everybody. So if you get missed shots on the original transition attempt, those energized teammates are following in there, ready to clean it up on an offensive rebound, or someone is going to be there for a kick-out pass and a good look at a transition 3. It's just a cascading effect that is started by these two wanting to open up the floor and play in advantage situations. And then I think that pace mentality starts to blend into Minnesota's more half-court type of actions as well. That's what makes this super important in pretty much all situations. Because even if the defense does stifle their transition chance, just by beating one guy down the floor, now McDaniels has a step on him already, so Bones' defender needs to hesitate in help, and that's enough room to open up a catch and shoot 3. That's the power of players who want to play with pace. Again, Boston do a good job of getting back here, but because they're not fully set, Brown isn't in position when they get into a post-up with only 4 seconds off the clock, and he gets put in the meat grinder by Naz Reid because of it. These are important possessions in important moments of the game, and they're made so much more simple by Bones and Ayo getting them into early offense and scrambling a defense that is really tough to score on once they're locked into their defensive shell. Minnesota shoots 60.1% in the first 6 seconds of the shot clock, which is a similar spike to pretty much every team in the league. It's just way more efficient to attack in early offense, so having two guys who not only do that themselves really well, but also combine together really well, and force their teammates to match their speed, means they get more efficiency in areas they otherwise wouldn't. Now that's where both of these players are going to add the most value to this team, but I do think it's important for them to also bring value outside of pace. They're both taking turns running point guard for this team, and they need to be effective in that role as well, especially without Edwards there to take a ton of ball handling usage, and I think we've been seeing them both do a pretty good job of that lately, which again seemed to peak in this game specifically. Sometimes that's going to be organising the offense to open up points for themselves. Like here, it's Dosunmu marshalling his teammates, calling Randall into the ball screen, and then rejecting it to get downhill, where he is so deadly. Being able to do that in a more traditional half-court point guard role is very important in the role he's playing as well. Here it's the same. Bones is finding the right screening partner whose defender wants to sit in a deep drop so that he can get his defender in jail and find a sweet spot to score from. And then obviously there's other times where they need to be a playmaker in the half court as well. On this possession, Dosunmu is getting them into simple pin down pitch action, again finding the drop defender, and then cycling it back out for a pick and pop 3-ball. Both Hyland and Dosunmu are always going to be score first guys who aren't really point guards, but if they can get Minnesota into actions and find seams in the defense to make passes out of, they just add another thing into their offensive mix that defenses need to be wary of, and that makes them super dangerous against any defense. Who knows how much of this we're going to get when Anthony Edwards gets back, but Bones Hyland and Ayo Dosunmu have proven now that they can handle bigger usage rates and more responsibility within this offense, and do it in a really impactful way against good teams. So this has to be something Minnesota weaves into their game down the stretch here as they try and find a point of difference going into the playoffs. And also just because it's really fun to watch these guys go to work every single night. If you want more breakdowns like this one, subscribe to the channel or drop a like or a comment below to help Howls and Growls grow. Thanks again for watching.